Huge changes are coming to the world of basketball. The NBA may well be on the brink of transitioning to a new kind of basketball. A futuristic-looking, black, airless version that we saw a few months ago in the 2023 Slam Dunk Contest. The news surrounding this innovation is beginning to generate serious buzz, and the league appears to be adding a groundbreaking spin to the game we all love. However, the excitement about this new development has been accompanied by a dribble of doubt and questions. Why change something that already works? Will it affect shot precision? What about dribbling? And most importantly, when will it hit the NBA hardwood? This isn't the first time the league has tried to switch up the balls. The NBA has walked down this tricky path before. You see, in 2006, the NBA attempted to change the type of ball in play, but the experiment was, to put it mildly, a train wreck on ice skates. To truly understand the scope of this potential change, we first need to take a quick trip down memory lane. The journey of the basketball, from its creation over a century ago, has been a fascinating ride. From a humble PE teacher's bright idea involving a soccer ball and a basket, the game took flight. The teacher was James Naismith, and he witnessed his brainchild take the world by storm. In partnership with Spalding and Bros, he designed the first basketball, a leather upgrade on the previous mentioned soccer ball. In the subsequent decades, our cherished ball underwent a series of revisions. 1948 brought us the first molded version, with a couple of inches shaved off the circumference. A couple of decades later, in 1970, another critical version was undertaken, shifting from our 4-panel design to 8 panels. The game, now firmly established in the national consciousness, continued to evolve alongside the ball, culminating the release of Spalding's full-grain leather ball in 1983. Fast forward to 2006, and the NBA, in partnership with Spalding, thought it was time to shake things up. The traditional leather was ousted in favor of a cutting-edge microfiber composite material. Sporting goods manufacturers had been singing praises of this futuristic material, and it had become a darling of the industry. The adoption of these synthetic balls had already taken place in many high school and college leagues throughout the nation. The NBA's move seemed like a logical step forward in adopting the modern technology. The new ball made its dazzling debut in New York City, but soon after, the glitz began to fade. The league sent out balls for players to practice, but the reception was far from stellar. Several players compared it unfavorably to plastic. As training camp progressed, mild concerns transformed into widespread panic. The ever-outspoken Shaquille O'Neal even compared the ball to a cheap toy store replica, but it somehow made it to the first tip-off of the 2006-07 NBA season. However, more and more players started voicing their concerns. The principal issue was the inconsistency of the ball's surface when it encountered moisture. The ball turned into a slippery mess when wet, and when dry, offered excessive friction. Many players claimed it was causing cuts on their hands, and were seen sporting band-aids on their fingers. The new ball was a disaster. There was no two ways about it, and the NBA owners, with Mark Cuban at the front, voiced their criticism and demanded action be taken. Their voices were heard, and after a study by the University of Texas's physics department highlighted the new ball's shortcomings, the NBA had no choice but to revert to the old leather ball. Despite evidence that the composite ball was more consistent and potentially improved shooting, scoring, and reduced turnovers, the player dissatisfaction was too pronounced to ignore. A curious observation from this debacle was that despite the outcry against the new ball, statistical analyses did not show a drastic shift in the overall performance of the league. While certain star players such as Tracy McGrady and Ray Allen seemed to struggle with the synthetic ball, others like LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony performed even better. But numbers don't always tell the whole story, do they? After all, the sentiment from players was pretty clear: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The 2006 ball change incident was a chink in the armor for the NBA. We all thought surely they wouldn't try to switch up the ball again. But like the protagonist in a thriller who doesn't know when to quit, the NBA is teetering on the edge of another significant change. The 2021 season saw the NBA shift its allegiance from Spalding to Wilson as the official game ball manufacturer, a minor alteration at best. Here's where things get interesting. Wilson recently announced their latest invention, a 3D printed airless basketball. Yeah, you heard right. a ball that looks like the love child of a basketball and a wiffle ball. This is not a hastily constructed plaything, but a carefully crafted innovation. Wilson has been meticulously developing this technology for over half a decade. The airless basketball made its public debut during the 2023 All-Star Weekend at the Slam Dunk Contest, where Kenyon Martin Jr. used it to execute one of his dunks. Not long after that, Wilson uploaded videos showing the fascinating creation process of this futuristic ball. The primary technique applied in the ball's fabrication is 3D printing, a groundbreaking technology that the world has grown accustomed to. However, to get this basketball to feel and function like the real deal, Wilson adopted a unique 3D printing method known as selective laser sintering, or SLS. Unlike your run-of-the-mill 3D printer, the SLS printers used are considerably advanced and expensive. The creation process involves sketching with a laser into a powdered bed, shaking out the leftover powder, sealing the powder, and finally dyeing the balls. Once the prototype ball is ready, it's shipped off to the NBA testing facility in Ohio. Here, the ball undergoes extensive testing to ensure its performance is on par with the traditional ball. The final product is a 3D printed basketball, equal in weight and size to its conventional counterparts, and requires no inflation or deflation. It bounces as if it had an internal air chamber, even though it does not. It truly is a revolutionary piece of basketball tech. Yet, skepticism lingers, and many valid concerns have been raised. The new ball's airless design presents a host of challenges. Even though Wilson took great pains to match the weight and bounce of the traditional ball, one wonders how the aerodynamics of the ball will be affected by its unusual design. Let's not forget, there are holes everywhere, which allows air to pass right through the ball. This could drastically affect the ball's trajectory during long-range shots. Other concerns pertain to the ball's bounce and feel. Will it lose its bounce over time? Will the holes enhance or detract from the grip? And what happens when sweat comes into play? The answers to these questions remain largely theoretical until players can physically test out the ball in real-world conditions. On the brighter side, the new basketball could very well end up being an excellent option for outdoor play. Windy conditions could be less of a factor, as the wind might pass through the holes instead of altering the ball's flight. And if the ball can maintain its bounce and grip, it may just turn out to be the perfect solution for those who've lost countless games due to Mother Nature's unforeseen interferences. Over time, basketballs have evolved quite significantly. We've transitioned from the original leather basketballs to synthetic ones designed for better durability, grip, and bounce. But an airless ball would represent the most dramatic evolution yet. While it's still in the early stages of development, and likely won't hit the NBA courts in the immediate future, there's no denying that this is a massive leap forward in sports technology. It's weirdly reminiscent of the 2006 scenario, but the hope is that the NBA has learned from past mistakes. And remember, this isn't some fringe company trying to introduce a novelty item. This is Wilson, the NBA's official ball manufacturer. Like it or not, the future of basketball might be 3D printed. Only time will tell if this new ball is a slam dunk or another air ball, no pun intended. One thing is for certain though, if history is any indicator, the road to acceptance is paved with challenges. Just remember, when the game changes, we don't quit. We just learn to play a new game. And who knows, maybe one day we'll look back and chuckle about these quaint leather balls we used to use. However, one player we no longer chuckle about is Aaron Gordon. Until recently, he was best known for the 2016 dunk contest. Now on the other hand, AG is playing the best basketball of his life, serving as an instrumental component for the Nuggets' success. As Denver fights for its first championship in franchise history, Gordon's role becomes crucial. I've made a video about Aaron's incredible improvement and how he's managed to turn his career around. Check it out.